A student sets up the circuit above in the lab. The values of the resistance and capacitance are as shown, but the constant voltage E delivered by the ideal battery is unknown. At time t equals 0, the capacitor is uncharged and the student closes the switch. The current as a simple function of time is measured using a computer system, and the following graph is obtained. A. Use the data above, calculate the battery voltage E. So let's apply Kirchhoff's rule to the loop rule here, which tells us that the EMF minus the current through the resistor minus the voltage on the capacitor has to be 0. But at t equals 0, the voltage on the capacitor is 0 because it is initially uncharged. So I can say that the moment I care about, we have the EMF minus the initial current times the resistance equals 0, or the EMF equals the initial resistance times the current. And then we can just plug in numbers. So we can say we have what looks to be 2.25 milliamps, let's be careful about that later, times the 550 ohms that were given, and then let's convert. Remember that there are 1 amp per 1,000 milliamps, and so I get something like 1.24 amps. Part B, calculate the voltage of the capacitor at time t equals 4. We could find that tau is RC, which is 550 ohms, times 4,000 microfarads, which is 2.2 seconds. Then we use that the voltage in the capacitor is the EMF times 1 minus e to the minus t over tau. How do we know it's the 1 minus part? Well, we know it's either e to the minus t over tau or 1 minus that, and we know that at the start we better start with 0 voltage on the capacitor, so we need to be subtracting off the initial value of the exponential, so we need 1 minus 1, so we need the 1 minus. Anyway, then we can throw in some numbers, and we have 1 minus e to the minus 4 seconds over 2.2 seconds, and we get 1.04 volts. That's one way to do it. Turns out there's another way to do it, which is that we apply Kirchhoff's rule. And again, we have EMF minus the current times the resistance minus the capacitance on the battery is 0, still the loop rule. So the capacitance voltage is the EMF minus IR. We know the EMF was 1.2 volts. The current reads to be about 0.35 milliamps times the resistance, of course, of 550 ohms. And then we'll multiply again by 1 amp over 1,000 milliamps to get 1.0475 amps. Do these agree? Well, sort of. If we look at it, they sort of seem to agree almost, and that almost certainly comes down to reading that, which, might have been a little higher than 0.35. By the way, which method is better? Either. The rubric allows you to do either, and they're both fine. They should be consistent, and they are. Part C, calculate the charge on the capacitor at 4 seconds. So this is really as simple as Q equals CV for a capacitor. So Q at 4 seconds is the 4,000 microfarads times the 1.04 volts that we found, times the idea that 1 farad is 10 to the 6 microfarads. And we get 0.00416 coulombs. There are alternate routes. You could take the exponential function that we had before and multiply it by c. You could even do an integral of the current if you wanted to, but that would be kind of silly. These are, right, because you could certainly go through the idea that the charge is the integral of the current dt, which means you could actually do it by direct manipulation of the graph, but I think the easiest is what's done there. Right. Part D, on the axis below, sketch a graph of the charge on the capacitor as a function of time. So here we're going to know that it's going to be one of those things where it's going to limit to the value we just found. It's going to start at 0, and it's going to be some exponential asymptotic limit, something like that. Note that unlike their usual things, they don't actually say to even label the axes with any asymptotes or intersects, which is their usual thing, right? They usually say label any minimums, maximums, intercepts, or asymptotes. But here they didn't even bother doing that. So the rubric literally says you get a point for starting the graph at the origin, indicating there was no charge, and you get a point for a sketch that, quote, is approximately exponential and approaching an asymptote. So that was pretty easy, 2 points. Part E, calculate the power being dissipated as heat in the resistor at 4 seconds. And maybe the easiest go-to is remember that power equals I squared R, and the I we had said was 0.35 milliamps squared times 550 ohms, and then we've got to convert that 1 amp is 1,000 milliamps squared, and we get something like 6.74 times 10 to the minus 5 watts. You could also have gone through that the power is always VI, and here we have to remember that the voltage is going to be 1.24 volts minus minus 1.04 volts, because the voltage across the resistor has to make up the rest that is in the capacitor, times the current, which we said was 0.35 milliamps, times the 1 amp per 1,000 milliamps. And in this case, we get just about the same thing. Here I think I get, because of the way I've done rounding, I get 7 times 10 minus 5. So I'm a little unhappy with that, but that's probably because I have a couple extra digits that I rounded too many digits early on. But part F, the capacitor is now discharged. Its dielectric constant of constant K equals 1 is replaced by a dielectric constant K equals 3, and the procedure is repeated. Is the amount of charge on one plate of the capacitor at 4 seconds now greater than, or less than, or the same as before? Justify your answer. So let's think through things. Our new capacitance is going to be kappa times the old capacitance, so it's going to be 3 times the original capacitance. This means that the max charge, which is EMF times the capacitance, is going to be 3 times the original max. So my instinct is that we should be greater. But we do need to be careful because the time constant is going to change as well. The new time constant is going to be R times the new capacitance, which is going to be 3 times the original time capacitance, which means that we will take longer to reach the same percentage difference, the Q over Q max. It will take longer, so we have a smaller percentage of our full charge, but our full charge will be larger. So we need to sort of look at how that works out. So we might want to take something like take these ratios and say, well, Q in the new case over Q in the original case at 4 seconds is going to be the new Q max over the original Q max, the new Q max times 1 minus the exponential of the time over the new tau, and this is going to be over Q max 0, 1 minus e to the minus t over the original tau. So we know we get a 3 out here, and we have 1 minus e to the minus 4 over 3 times 2.2. over 1 minus e to the minus 4 over 2.2, which really we have to grind out. There's no, I don't think you can see where. And this whole thing becomes 1.62, which confirms that it is greater than it was before, since the ratio is more than 1. Here's how the rubric says. You had to put greater to get any credit, and marking greater got you 1 point. If you had any indication that the capacitance increases, that you get another point. And if you somehow deal with the time dependence, you get a final point. By the way, you could, of course, just brute force grind out the new charge and show that it was larger. If you did that, you would get something, according to the scoring guide, you get 6.7 times 10 to the minus 3 coulombs. And so you definitely see that it's larger by, in fact, the factor that we found.